Hello, welcome to How to Succeed in Business During a Pandemic. I'm Wendy Lalli, your host, and this is a relatively new show that we've started. It's an interview show, and we will be talking to entrepreneurs and professionals who are not only surviving in this time of COVID-19, they're thriving. And what we want to do is to share the information, the insights that they've gathered of how they're doing it with you, who we assume are also in business and facing the same challenges everyone else is. My business is, I'm a copywriter. I'm a marketing strategist. So this was kind of a natural fit for me. And I get to meet incredibly interesting people. And best of all, I get to share the information with you. Today, we will be talking to a very special friend, Kevin Cromwell. Kevin is, he's amazing in many different ways, and he's an ideal fit for this program. And the reason being, he has undergone a career transition that I'm going to ask him to share with us today. He has his own business that he started several years ago, called the Asia Business Group. And he also, for the last 2 years, has been working for Berkshire Hathaway as a real estate broker. So I'm going to ask him to talk about both of those things. And by the way, Kevin has a really interesting brand as a real estate broker. He calls himself a change agent. And we certainly are going through changes today. So with that, I'm going to introduce Kevin, please. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you so much, Wendy, for inviting me to speak to you and all the viewers of this podcast. I call myself a change agent because I help my clients change their real estate portfolio to match the changes in their lives. And as you say, we've had a lot of changes lately. So many people are working remotely. You know, recently I heard someone say that working from home is a misnomer. I said, what do you mean by that? And he said, well, you know, I'm sleeping where I work. And to me, that kind of put it all into perspective. You know, we're living in closer proximity to each other than we have any time in my memory. We're all staring at the same four walls. And from a real estate perspective, I'm finding that a lot of people now are saying, you know, I need to change my living situation to match this new reality that I'm experiencing. A lot of times they're looking for a home that has more separation between living areas and workspace, you know, a dedicated home office. So those are some of the things that are propelling my real estate business right now. So just to give you a little insight, you know, I've worked from a home office for the past 28 years. So I know a little bit about how to manage that whole home and work-life separation.
Well, how did you begin? Could you kind of take us through your career? Because
Sure.
You've gone from one business to really something completely different.
Right. So as you say, real estate is my second profession. My first career was in U.S.-Japan bilateral trade. That was something that I did for 38 years. For 26 of those years, I helped U.S. and Japanese technology companies market and sell their products in each other's home markets. And I believe that the key to making a good change is to maintain a strong thread between what you like and enjoy in your current job, and then keep that as you transition into new areas. Really what I was doing was I just kind of flipped on its head what I had been working at Toshiba doing. I decided, instead of working for Japanese to help them market their products in the United States, that I'd work with American firms to help them succeed in Japan. So it was very different, but yet there was that similarity as well. So fast forward another 15 years, during which time China's position in the tech industry approached Japan's, and ultimately ended up surpassing it. I then realized that I needed to change my focus away from Japan Business Group, and I rebranded myself as Asia Business Group because my clients were asking me to take them into other areas of Asia. So I opened offices in Korea and Taiwan and began offering services in those companies as well.
How did you move from that to what you're doing now, to real estate?
Sure.
And I just want to, our clock is ticking here. We've got about like another.
Oh, sure.
We have a
Sure.
lot of-
Well, after having so many, so much time spent in the air, I decided that I wanted to be more local. I wanted to have my career in the same place where I lived. So, as I said, it's so important to have that thread go through everything. And to me, what was really interesting was working cross-culturally. I've always had a love for architecture. So today, as a realtor, I've created a niche working with non-native English-speaking first-generation Americans, and they account for about half of my business. So
Wow.
again, it's that thread of similarity that runs through everything.
I was going to say, you kind of combined, you took all the elements of your life and kind of pulled them together and to make the best use of them. And
Sure.
I think that's what all of us really have to do today. We have to re-examine what we're doing and how we're doing it, because it's an entirely different world. I describe it as you're going from the real world, pre-COVID, to a virtual world. And if you are not in that virtual world, you are not in the world. You just don't exist.
So true.
Yeah.
So true. Yeah. Yeah. And as a real estate agent, that's never been more true. Real estate has actually been pretty much at the vanguard of using the internet. But now we're using it not just for getting our message out through social media, e-newsletters. We're having Zoom webinars with potential clients. We're viewing properties online together. We're able to do that through Zoom. And when necessary, I provide a virtual showing. I go out and walk the client through the property using remote sites. Another thing that I started doing was, nowadays I can't take people around to show them the city. And with so many city people coming out to the suburbs, I've had to create a virtual city tour. So I've put up these self-guided tours of several of the villages that I cover, and I highlight spots that only residents know about and appreciate. So Wendy, I think one of the things that's going to be really important in the future is adaptability. We all are going to need to learn how to make changes on the fly. Just as an example, it used to be that I would be able to take clients on a brief tour of the villages that they were interested in, whether it be Oak Park, River Forest, Brookfield, Berwyn, whatever. But now I can't do that. So one of the things that I've done is I've created self-guided tours that I curate for my clients, and they can go to spots that actually I've crowdsourced. I've gotten friends to help me do this. That will give them some feel for the community that they're moving into. And this is really important for people who are leaving the city and coming out to the suburbs, places where they haven't spent a lot of time before. It gives them an opportunity to really experience it like a native.
And we don't chew hay, and we're actually civilized out here. It must be a total shock to them. But that's true. We lived in the city. My husband and I. My husband's a musician, so we lived in the city, and we wanted to live in the city because we thought that was the place where the music was. Then when we came back to Oak Park and realized that actually there's a number of places where he could play that were every bit as good as the places in the city, except it was cheaper. They were,
right.
And parking was easier. So.
Right.
I know that's affected the way, the tours are online, right? I mean, they
Yes,
couldn't.
they are. So if you go to my website, kcrowell.com, you can navigate your way to those. And actually, there's an app that you can download that you can put them right on your phone and guide yourself as you go about town. So it's really convenient. It's a lot of fun, and I've had a lot of fun making them. And it's, as I say, it kind of gives you an insider's look at the community that most people won't be able to get and or experience. So yeah, I'm really, really pleased with the way they've turned out.
One of the things I admire about you, Kevin, and now you told me, I know that you've been a marketing director, so now it really makes sense to me. You always find a way to connect your audience, your client, to whatever it is you're selling in a very unique way. And I know that that's what you're describing. I mean, the whole concept of showing people not just where they're going to live, which certainly is important, but also how they're going to live, what their lifestyle is going to be in that house that they're buying, and that's a whole different perspective that I think a lot of realtors engage in.
Yeah. Well, it's really, it was important to me when I was looking for a community in this area, and I have to believe that it's important to others too. What I loved so much about Oak Park was certainly the diversity, but what really drew me here first was the Frank Lloyd Wright home and studio, which 38 years ago was not much, and it was just really beginning to develop. But I've been a fan of Frank Lloyd Wright's for a long time, even as young as I was. And just that rich architectural heritage of the village was just something that drew me in. That plus, I always say that Oak Park is really inconvenient to everywhere in the Chicago area.
That's true.
We're in between two airports. We're close to downtown, whereas Evanston, up on the North Shore, is just inconveniently located. And it's kind of tough unless you're working on the North Shore or downtown. It's tough to get around. It's hard to get to the airport.
That's true. That is one of the things that attracted me to Oak Park. Now I hope we've attracted a lot of other people to Oak Park, and that you'll connect with Kevin to show you more, not only of Oak Park, but you also show people places in Berwyn and Forest Park.
Brookfield, Riverside, a lot of great communities out here. LaGrange Park is another one I like. Yeah.
So we've kind of come to the end of our visit. I'm going to ask Kevin to come back because in addition to everything else, he also leads a B&I group that I belong to. That's actually how we had met before that at the Eastgate, but that was how we really became friends. And for those of you who don't know what a B&I is, it's Business Network International. It's a international networking organization. And today, more than ever before, I think we need businesses especially need to engage in a formal form of networking to succeed. And we will discuss why when Kevin comes back, which I hope won't be too much longer. So I just want to thank you for today, Kevin. This was very informative, and to encourage all of you to come back and visit. Next week we'll have another interesting guest who I hope will give you some insight into how the world is functioning now and how all of us can take what we've done before, kind of reform it so it works better for us now during this pandemic. Wishing all of you not only success, not only that you survive, but that you thrive in this crazy time we're all facing. Thank you very much. This is Wendy Lalli signing off. Have a good week. Stay in and stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Wendy.